What's up, everyone? It is Gray, aka The Cogger, and we're back with RWBY. It was a nice break, but we're back, and this is one of my favorite episodes of all time. And if you've watched the episode, you know why. Once again, spoilers. I didn't do a funny gag in the thumbnail this time because I thought the thumbnail spoke for itself. I'm gonna be honest. Either way, I've seen other RWBY YouTubers. I hate calling myself that, by the way. It makes me physically cringe referring to myself as a RWBY YouTuber, but nonetheless, I see them like being able to record their reactions a week later, like when the episode goes public. So if you guys want, I can try and do that. I have to be really careful. Once again, I don't want my channel to get taken down because I only have one strike left. But if you want me to try that for like the finale and like wait a week for its public, because that makes sense to me. Because obviously, if it's first only, they wouldn't want people to be able to see it on YouTube. They'd lose money. But if it's already free, then they maybe not care as much. We'll see. I might try. Either way, episode 10, it's a good one. I'm excited to talk about it. Let's just get right into it. So this episode opens up where we get some Ironwood. Very nice shot of Ironwood at his desk. He's a little stressed because things are going wrong. Some people show up to inform him that the prison has been, I guess the prison's been, or wherever they were holding him, command has been compromised. Robin and Crow got out along with Watts. And he's pretty upset. He's spaghetti about it. They're like, we still have Jock. And he's like, dude, I don't care about Jock Schnee. No one does. Which is funny. And while they're talking, it does show the scene of Robin and Crow breaking out, and Crow just attacks a soldier in bird form. Like a rock, the soldier flips over a rock, and then a crow just like darts at his chest. It's really funny. So they made their escape, so that's kind of cool. And he's pretty upset about it, and he's like, "We'll go find them and bring them back." And they're like, "Yeah." And they also, both the soldiers look absolutely terrified, so you can tell that like they're getting scared of Ironwood more than they are like loyalty. It's just fear. Which makes sense, considering what happens in this episode. Oh, dude, if you're an Ironwood fan, oh boy, this one is hard to justify. Almost like shooting children. And then we kind of get... Some people said it was a jump scare. I didn't consider it. It was just, like, abrupt. Also, there was a flashing light warning in this episode for this, because there's a really excellent scene. And if you don't know what this is, I'll explain it. Actually, I think I'm going to temporarily move myself. Where am I? Boop. That way you can see the whale. That's the whale, by the way. There's like music playing and there's no other sound. And it's just the whale exploding in white light. And just like pure white light. All the Grimm get disintegrated. We see like briefly, we see Winter leading the Aesops carrying the bomb. But before they get there, the whale explodes. All the people seem to be fine. But as you can see, the whale is disappearing. It's dissolving, so they killed it. Salem assumingly was destroyed, at least for now. Of course, we know that she's immortal, but it'll hopefully take her a while to reform. I'll talk a little bit about that at the end, my thoughts on that. And yeah, we briefly cut to some people in the aftermath. We also see a lot of people like seeing the explosion. It's a huge explosion. It's a really cool scene. If you've not watched the episode, and for some reason you want to spoil yourself by watching this video, look forward to seeing it, because it is really awesome. It looks incredible. And we see like Weiss like dropping food because she sees it through a window, and like a bunch of people see it. And we see the aftermath. The Aesops are like, Marrow's pretty bummed because the kids were in there and he thinks that they're dead. And then he's like, how do we tell Ironwood this wasn't us? Or we get a call from Ironwood. They get like a telecommunication. He's like, hey, good job. And he's like, we're going to have to tell him it's not us. He's like, and Winter's like, we'll tell him in person. Winter also looks a little bummed because I assume they think that the kids are dead. I wasn't really sure about that, but they were pretty... Yeah, I'm going to assume that's the case. But we do cut to them, and they're all fine. Oscar, Team B, so it's back together fully. We got Oscar, Yang, John, and Ren, and now Emerald. So they got someone. And Emerald's sad because it's seemingly Hazel's dead. Of course, we didn't see a body. So is Hazel dead? Either way, the character seems like he's kind of run his I don't know I forget what the expression is. Course? There we go. Hazel seems like he doesn't have any more else he could do. His character arc completed. But we also didn't see a body. So, you know, if he comes back, I won't be surprised whatsoever. Or if he shows up again. But Emerald was sad because assumingly he died. So I guess everyone can assume he died. And then what comes next, actually? Oh, is next the scene? Oh, guys. This is the reason this is my favorite episode. This is 100% one of my favorite scenes in all of RWBY. So, Cinder and Watts, obviously the explosion just happened. And they're on like a roof. Because if you don't remember last episode, she broke him out of prison. And he's like, can you contact anyone from the whale, assumingly? She's like, no. And he's like, we have to make a plan when she comes back. And she's like, Salem's like not here right now. You're going to follow my plan. And he's like, what? I'm not going to do that. So she obviously threatens him. She holds him out. She's like, and dude, she's like, and he's like, what is your plan? She's like, I'm going to walk into the vault. I'm going to kill her. I'm going to take the maiden powers. And dude, Watts is like, I cannot do the scene justice. Describing it to you, I just can't. Because he just roasts her down to her core. He destroys Cinder. She's holding him over the ledge, and a lot of people were comparing it to him rolling a persuasion check and an intimidation check and getting a nat 20. Because he realized, I like to think in my head, that he wasn't trying to save himself. He just knew that he was probably going to die. So he just said, F it. I'm gonna say how I really feel. So he says that you can't just be strong. You have to be or you can't just be wanting power. You have to be smart. You can't just be strong. You have to be worthy. He just screams at her about how dumb she's been and how she always cries about how she doesn't get what she wants and blah, blah, blah. Guys, please watch the scene. It's so good. It's getting my freaking ringtone. If you guys know me at all, if you've been here for a while, you know that I do not like Cinder as a character for the reasons he described, exactly. So hearing a character call her out on all of her BS for the entirety of the show was so gratifying. I was so hyped. Watts is one of my favorite characters now, as per the title. He defeated Cinder. She pulled him back, set him down, went over, and just started crying. Because he was right. He really was right. She needed to, not be doing what... Clearly, whatever her plan of, I'm all that wasn't working out because she got defeated at pretty much every single turn. So she needs to reevaluate how she does things. And honestly, as much as I don't like Cinder, this is a good starting point for her to legitimately turn into a compelling character. Because she seems like the fact that she was willing to not only not kill Watts, but also feel sorrow for how she's been. Or at least, feel bad about how she's been ineffective, I guess. Shows that she can change. And I almost people... I also saw this comparison. I was glad to make it. If you guys know, I also do my hero videos, which go check those out if you haven't for the manga. And rather recently, spoilers by the way, so if you're anime only, don't hear this for my hero. Well, it's not a huge spoiler. Shigaraki, let's just say, got way more interesting. We'll say that as a character. Shigaraki started kind of like a bratty kid, and then he evolved into a much more interesting character. And honestly, if Cinder goes the same route, I might end the show liking Cinder, which is crazy because I've hated Cinder ever since she was introduced. I've hated Cinder. But this was honestly such a great scene. I loved it so much. And yeah, that's really it. We do cut back to that scene a tiny bit before the end, but we'll get there when we get there. I believe next, if I'm not mistaken, is... Oh, no. I cut back to Team B. They're going through the subways to meet up with Team A, so they're finally going to reunite. And they pass a bunch of people that were hiding out in the subway. That's where they were retreating from the Grim attacks. And it's kind of a small scene, doesn't really mean a whole lot, but it is kind of showing Emerald that, firsthand what she's responsible for, so to make her feel bad, I guess. Either way, it's a fine scene. Nothing crazy really happens here, to be honest, but it's nice to see that oh, they also explain the staff. So the way Ozpin's staff, or Oscar Ozpin's staff works is they also, well, we'll talk about staff and then we'll go further, is it's stored up kinetic energy through all of his lives. Through, I imagine, just fighting, or every time he swung it, it stored up a little bit of that kinetic energy. And that's why the explosion was so massive. It was lifetimes and lifetimes of kinetic energy built up. And Oscar said that Ozpin actually... Well, Ren called him out. He's like, Ozpin helped out, didn't he? And everyone was like, what? Ozpin? But Oscar explains that, like, yeah, he took the beatings for me and the torture, and then he also explained, like, the staff and stuff, and he trusted me with it. So he's, I guess Oscar and Ospen are on fairly cool terms right now, so that's kind of nice. And and then he explained how the staff works. And he also said that he only has a little bit of that kinetic energy left. So either they're going to use it at the end of the season, because why else would they? Or they're going to save it for later when they need, an easy out. Because it was a pretty powerful attack, considering, obviously it was most of it. So I imagine next time you use it, it will be smaller scale, but still wiped out, like, all the Grim in the city. So, pretty strong. And also he talks about Emerald. He's like, hey, your semblance is really useful. And at the end of this episode, well, we'll also, if I remember, hopefully, but I do think they're going to use Emerald later. Okay, and then they do reunite. And, excuse me. A couple things about this scene that I really liked. Yang and RWBY had a legitimately nice sister moment that I don't see a lot of people talking about, because it's one of the big complaints of the show is they don't feel like they're siblings at all, especially now. Earlier they did, but, like, now, Yang's character turned into... But, either way, they had a really cute moment where they were like, oh, I missed you, blah, blah, blah. It was very nice. A lot of everyone else hugged. And then Bumblebee had this moment. And if you guys know, once again, I'm not a huge Bumblebee guy. Never really was. But this felt like a really natural, well-done scene. It didn't make me cringe like a lot of other Bumblebee scenes. It felt deserved, honestly. It felt natural, and that's really all I ask for. So at this point, as long as they keep doing it like this, I won't dislike the ship as much. So that was also really cool. And, yeah. And then, Ren is like, where's Nora? And I was so stoked for this. I was so stoked for this, because I want Ren and Nora to get reunited so bad, especially for Ren can see how bad shape he's in and see him, like, really. I do agree with a lot of my friends are like, we want that to be a bigger scene. I agree. I want that to be, like, its own whole scene, them reconciling, but you do what you do what you can. I'm just, if we get it at all, I'd be excited about it. So that's how I feel right now. And then, of course, the scene gets cut short by a broadcast from, before that, I almost forgot. There's like two brief scenes in between there. So we cut to Ironwood and Winter. They show up and they're like, he's like, hey, I need you to get Ren, Jean, and Yang. And she's like, we can't, we let them go. Well, she didn't say that. Harriet said that. By the way, screw Harriet so hard, dude. I hate that character. I really hope that she gets whooped by the end of the season, because she has been such a jerk to everybody. Because she was like, Winter let them go after they went to the whale to save his friends. And he's like, Ironwood was like all mad. And it was honestly a really well done, tense scene, because you were like, is he going to hit her? Is he going to shoot her? Because, Ironwood's done it before. And, that just shows how unhinged he is, because we're showing that we're worried that he's going to shoot one of his top commanders. But he didn't. He was just like, he's like, I have a new plan. Well, they see the ships, the Schnee Dust Company ships going to Mantle to try and get people out. He sees that and he's like, okay, I got a new plan. Because we need Penny. That's this whole thing. He needs Penny. Briefly cut to Cinder, still on the cliff. She gets a call and Watts is like, who's that? And it was Neo. And she has the lamp. So if you don't remember last episode, we saw Neo in the lamp room. She has the lamp. She's like, I can tell you how to use it if you give me what I want, which we can all assume is RWBY dead. If there's anything else, I don't know what it is. I hope it's something else, because that's kind of boring, and obviously it's not going to happen. So whatever Neo wants, I don't know. But it was pretty funny, because she was basically just cyberbullying Cinder, who's had a rough day. Screw Cinder, though. Okay. And then while Team A and B have reunited into just, I don't know what to call the good guys group, I guess. The protagonists. They get a call from Ironwood. All of Atlas and Mantle do, actually. And it's very dramatic. This is when Ironwood really gets into his bad form. And whoops, that's the wrong scene. Excuse me. There we go. Sorry. Ironwood makes the call. It's very dramatic. He's like, all right, fine, if you guys want to do this, We see footage of his ships shooting down the Schnee Dust Company ships. He's like, listen, you get an hour, protective mantle, do your job. All of her friends, get Penny, bring her to me in an hour, or I'm going to use this bomb that I was going to use to blow up the whale. I'm going to blow up Mantle. And everyone's like, the heck, dude? And that's that. That's the end of the episode. So Ironwood is completely used his semblance, the iron will, to do what he truly believes is the right call, which is being a psychopath. So that's that. Yeah, so that's the end of the episode. Things I want to talk about. Definitely, I think they set up to use Emerald's semblance to trick Ironwood into thinking they brought Penny when in reality they didn't. We don't know. We learned from Watts that Penny's job was to go to the vault, open it, and then self-destruct. And that's why Cinder was so mad at him. So we know for a fact that that is where Penny is going anyway. So I assume there's still a couple episodes left. Like, I think 3 or 4. I think there's 14 episodes this volume, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe even 16. I don't know, but we're not super close to being done. So the big climax is probably going to take place at the vault. I definitely think they're setting up for Marrow for sure. Marrow and Winter to both defect at some point. We don't know. I don't know. Winter might take a little bit longer because Marrow is already on the fence, and I think this is going to be absolutely the last straw for him. But Winter, I think, is also on the board. He's going to be like, kill your sister. And she's going to be like, what? I'm not going to do that. So there's that. Otherwise, oh, my camera didn't focus. Geez, that was funky. Otherwise, I don't have a whole lot else for predictions. I don't know where Cinder's story is going to go. I don't know what else she could do this season. Like, because unless, like, it's something to do with the lamp, which would be pretty cool, I guess. I don't know what Cinder would even ask. And assuming that, does Watts going to work with her? There's just a lot I don't know about Cinder's story. Now, Salem, narratively, it makes sense for Salem to stay out of the rest of the season. She was defeated in a pretty fair way without showing how that she was weak or anything. She was just defeated by basically a one-time use. So, assuming that she takes the rest of the season to reform, and maybe at the end of the last episode of the season, we'll see her, like, reform somewhere and be like... And is she going to reform in Atlas? That's the real question. If her body's completely destroyed, does she reform back in her, like, pool? Or is she just going to reform there? Because that'd be kind of funny if everyone, like, forgets about her, then she just shows up like, yeah, I just came back. So, way to go, jerks. So hopefully that's expressed a little bit. Overall, though, this is a really good episode. RWBY really has been killing it. I love this episode for a lot of reasons, but definitely Watts Cinder interaction was the super, super highlight. Next week, I want Ren and Nora so bad. Also, I forgot that Penny, just now I remembered that Penny is actually with the good guys. She's just chilling. So, she's unconscious. So, they have her. So, they're not going to take her to the vault. So, I think that's what Emerald's someone's. Emerald's weird for me because she's clearly on the good side now, but, like, if she gets confronted with Cinder, what's she going to do? I imagine she'll go with Cinder. Probably. It'd be great if she was like, you're a jerk, or Cinder was like, or maybe even Cinder will like be apologetic. She'll be like, hey, I know I didn't appreciate you or whatever, blah, 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 blah. I don't know, but that interaction's going to be fun. Ren and Nora's going to be fun. I'm stoked for next week, and that's really all I can say. So, obviously, if you want more RWBY content, subscribe, like the video if you did. Even if you didn't, you should like the video, because it really helps me out, making me feel better, and that's really all anyone cares about, isn't it? Also, my hero is going to be tomorrow, so look out for that. Next week, we're going RWBY. We're going strong, and I'm excited about it. Either way, guys, I will see all of you next time. Take care of yourselves.